If you're looking for an in-depth tutorial on how to do FX cuts, definitely not the video for you. If you're looking for a video on how to be mediocre at best, stick around. For small scar wax cuts like this, I like to use my left hand. You're more than welcome to use your own. I'm using Ben Nye Scar Wax because I've been conditioned to believe that it is the best. You want to scoop a little bit out of there and you're going to roll it into a little snake. Don't get too emotionally attached to the snake. We're going to do some pretty bad stuff to it. If you're planning on keeping this on for longer than it takes you to record a video, I definitely recommend that you use spirit gum. Once you've done that, you're going to want to secure the two edges down. I use both my fingers and a palette knife to try to smooth out those edges to make sure that they are sitting flush with the piece of skin that the wax is going onto, and just to make sure that it is blended very well into the surrounding areas. Once you've been working with the wax for a while, it will start to become tacky, and this is when you're going to want to pull out some Vaseline. For legal reasons, I wasn't actually allowed to show you guys me putting the Vaseline onto the wax, but I'm sure you understand the general idea. Put the Vaseline on there to help you smooth out all the edges. I like to use my thumb because it helps stimulate human contact. After about 12 years of smoothing, or however long it takes you to get to this point, it's time to use some powder. Any type of translucent powder and a fluffy brush will work. I personally think that the best results come when you use the same type of baby powder that you would put in your hair to make it stick up all goofy when you were emo in middle school. For the blushing, I like to use the Morphe 35OM palette just because these 4 shades specifically look really fleshy on wax. I use a brush like this to put it on. I don't know what kind of brush it is, but it works really good. It will add a little bit more texture to the wax and make it look a little bit more realistic. For placement on this, I like to find darker spots in my normal hand and just match that and carry it over onto the wax. Now for the fun part, you want to take any object that has a thin straight edge on it and actually cut through the wax. However, make sure it's lubed up or else it will rip it just like this, kind of like when you get your ears pierced with a gun instead of a needle. I decided to be funky and I added a second cut. If you do this, once you're done actually cutting, make sure that you go in with a tiny little pointy tool and just sharpen up those edges. Using the same brush and the darkest shade from the palette, I go around the edges and add a little bit of bruising. For the inside of the cut, I use the zombie wheel from Ben Nye and a small angled brush that I stole out of my mother's makeup bag when I was in the 6th grade. Using the lighter shade of red in the wheel, I go into the little cavities that we just made, and you get extra points for realism if you paint the little skin flaps. Once the inside is all painted and gross, I like to drag that color out, make it look a little bit more messy and gruesome. Once you've come to the point where you tell your too much gene to shut up, get out some blood. I like to use this stuff because it was conveniently on the counter when I started recording. I like to put a drop of blood right into the center of the cut, but sometimes I mess up and it goes on the edge. A lot of people like to use scab blood. I honestly don't like all that thicky icky. Once you've filled the inside crevices with blood, I like to drag it out onto the sides, just like what we did with the color for the inside, and I also like to pull it out through the edges of the cut, just so that the points look a little bit more sharp.